Welcome. Today I'm reviewing The Christmas Chronicles from 2018, a charismatic Santa carrying a thin movie. The Christmas Chronicles is one of those Christmas movies that's, well, perfectly watchable, but never really special, and I was hoping for more, much more. So I'm really disappointed, to be honest. I'm landing at a 5 out of 10, and honestly, most of that score comes down to one thing. That is Kurt Russell's Santa doing, well, pretty much all the heavy lifting in a movie that otherwise feels thin and very by the numbers. Right from his first appearance, crashing onto the scene with a lot of confidence, attitude, and a very surprisingly cool Santa outfit, you can feel the movie wake up. Kurt Russell looks great as Santa. I mean, not great, he looks badass. He acts badass, he is badass. That suit, the sleigh, the whole design has this old school high quality feel to it that immediately sells the character. It sells Santa Claus really well. And whenever he's on screen, the movie suddenly has a lot of energy and personality, zing and zap to it. And that's also one of the biggest problems. When he's not there, the movie feels dull, it feels flat. The story itself is incredibly predictable. You always know where it's going to go and how it's going to get there. The emotional beats arrive right on schedule, hit their mark, and move on without lingering. For example, the movie leans heavily on grief and belief early on, but it never really slows down enough to let you breathe in those moments. Scenes that should feel meaningful are rushed so we can get to the next chase or effects heavy set piece. The lack of depth really hurts the two main protagonists, the brother and sister, and they are clearly meant to be the emotional core of the film. Unfortunately, they're blandly written and unevenly acted. Take the early scenes where they're bickering at home or arguing in the car before the adventure even starts. You can already see their entire arcs. It's tension now, bonding later, and emotional resolution at the end. And because it feels so mechanical, I never really connected with any of them. There's even a moment where the brother gets kidnapped in the park by a group of dangerous punks, which should feel scary or impactful, but instead it feels oddly unpleasant and out of place. There's nothing cozy or wholesome about that whole scene. It's strangely dark for a Christmas movie, and it doesn't really deepen the character either. It feels manufactured to keep the plot moving, I guess. I'm not sure. It felt like it's belonged in a different movie, really. It didn't have any place in this one. The sister doesn't fare much better. She's clearly written to be assertive and proactive, but she comes across as annoying and irritating instead of engaging in several scenes where she's barking orders or reacting loudly to chaos, especially during the sleigh mishaps and elf encounters. I found myself more irritated than invested. The movie's humor is very hit or miss, and when it misses, oh my gosh, it misses hard. A lot of the comedy relies on noise and chaos and exaggerated reactions than it does on clever writing, and I hate it when movies do this. Just write good jokes. And that being said, Lamorne Morris as Officer Mickey Jameson is a standout. His scenes, especially the first encounters he has with Santa, and when he slowly realizes what is happening, that's genuinely funny and it feels relaxed. He feels like a real person reacting to madness and absurd situations, which is a refreshing take in a movie full of heightened performances. And then there's the infamous Santa jail scene. On paper, Santa breaking out into a musical number in jail is ridiculous, and honestly, it kinda works. Kurt Russell sells it with sheer charisma, but tonally, it's bizarre. One minute the movie is supposed to be heartfelt, the next it's a full on musical performance with inmates dancing along. It is entertaining though, but it also feels like it wandered in from a completely different movie. So I'm not sure what to say of this. I'm not sure what to make of this. The elves are another example of tonal confusion. They're sort of cute, kinda, but they're mostly creepy. And the CGI gives them an uncanny edge. It doesn't look right. And that really comes to a head when one of the elves pulls out a chainsaw. Let me repeat that. One of the elves pulls out a chainsaw and goes after a bad guy. At that point, the movie feels less like a warm Christmas adventure and more like it doesn't quite know what to do and who it's for. Visually, the film is really solid. The sleigh sequences look good, the effects are competent, and it never feels cheap, which is a great thing. But too often, the scenes rely on spectacle instead of substance, and I do take issue with that. There's a lot of movement, a lot of noise, but not much emotional weight behind it, and well, that is a missed opportunity, really. By the time the movie reaches its emotional climax, it expects you to feel deeply moved by the siblings' growth and renewed belief. But because their relationship never felt organic to begin with, the payoff lands really, really, really flat. It feels like the movie is checking off the final emotional box before wrapping things up neatly. To be clear, the Christmas Chronicles, it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie at all. It's completely made, completely made, competently made, and it works fine as well, as a background holiday movie, but it definitely lacks the warmth, the depth, and character investment that elevate a Christmas movie from fine to maybe memorable. Kurt Russell's Santa and Lamorne Morris's Officer Jameson are genuinely enjoyable and they deserve a lot of credit for it. But one great Santa, a cool sleigh, and a fun few scenes aren't enough to carry the movie, built on cliches and rushed emotion. So in the end, for me, The Christmas Chronicles feels like a Christmas movie designed to be nothing more but okay. And yeah, it's nothing special. It's just serviceable, I think. So a 5 out of 10 for me. That's my take on the movie. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you the next time. Bye bye.